Our next guest is an iconic businesswoman. You know her as one of the sharks on Shark Tank, but Barbara Corcoran is also answering fans' burning questions on her podcast, Business Unusual. I'm joined now by the one and only Barbara Corcoran. Barbara, it's great to see you this morning. Thank you so much for taking the time.
So nice to be here. Thanks a lot.
Okay, so let's talk about your most recent podcast episode about the jobs market. And we saw a stellar March jobs report. We still have a long way to go as this market continues to recover post-pandemic, but 916,000 jobs added. Are you optimistic right now about what you're seeing in the jobs market?
I don't think I've ever seen a rosier picture in my life. I think no matter how many accolades you're going to hear out there, this job market is going to explode well beyond people's expectations. I think there's such a hunger on the part of individuals, human beings, wanting to party, wanting to have more fun, wanting to plan the next vacation, buy their new home, buy their beach house, along with get a new job, get a promotion, that there's going to be a shortage of workers. I think it's going to be the best job market we've ever seen for the last 10 years. I know that sounds exaggerated. I don't believe so.
Okay, fascinating. So we've got a lot of factors at play here, certainly, that are adding to it. But the most recent podcast you did saying your first job isn't going to be your last. And so for people who are looking to enter the jobs market, who are still sidelined, about 10 million people, what is the advice that you would give them? Should they take that first opportunity that comes their way?
Well, you can take a first opportunity if you're accustomed to, trusting your gut and grabbing it while you can. But be aware that the more important thing is to really be aware of what's out there. Right now, there are so many postings on the job boards that if you don't scan the job boards daily, you're out of your mind. 3 months ago, a job posting lasted about 3 months. Today, it's lasting about 2 days. So you've got to be on the job boards to appreciate how many jobs are up there. Secondly, you really have to remember that you have to use keywords when you post your resume back, because if you don't, those job boards are all coded now, and they won't even pick up your resume. And a lot of people are naive to that fact. So if you want to get a response, you have to make sure you copy the keywords that are in the job description. And last, if you possibly can find a human being inside that company and ask them to present your resume, your odds on winning go up about tenfold. Not everybody has that kind of access, but if you can locate somebody like that, the chances that you get heard or be seen on your resume is more accurate, the better, by far, exponentially.
Barbara, such great advice. Let's say for some people, a job isn't for them. They don't want to work at another company. They want to start their own company. And your know-how is so helpful in that regard. So as we look at a world post-pandemic, what would you say to budding entrepreneurs out there who want to try their own go at it?
First of all, you don't have to get it right. You have to get it going. I can tell you there's 10 would-be entrepreneurs that are writing business plans. I couldn't write one if somebody asked me to do it, who just want to get everything in order before they even go out into the street. So first off, you got to jump in. And that's the hardest thing for most people because it's scary to actually do it versus plan it. Next, you have to start when you're young. Thank God I was 23. I had no mortgage, no kids, no husband to contend with, and I had a terrible apartment I shared with 2 roommates, no overhead. And that's key to starting. If you're going to have a high overhead, you have to chop it down before you start into business for yourself. And last, you have to, well, not last, I could go on forever, but business plans are so grossly overrated. For a lot of us, we're not left brain thinkers. We don't do math. We don't do words well. But if you can dream well and have a clear image of who you wanted to be, I knew I was going to be the queen of New York real estate from day one. I couldn't do anything but dream about it and make sure I did everything in my life to fulfill that prophecy or that image of what I had for myself. And that is essential. And I would say 2 out of 3 entrepreneurs are not left brain type people. So if you could image who you want to be, it's a lot more useful than putting a business plan together.
Barbara, obviously, we know Shark Tank's still filming during this pandemic. I want to hear what that was like. And I want to hear if there are any business models, plans, entrepreneurs that you think are well suited to capitalize on life post-pandemic.
The best attribute for any entrepreneur pre-pandemic, after pandemic, is resiliency. If there's one lesson that every entrepreneur learned out there during this pandemic, is that those that were resilient and could remap the way they were doing the business because the customer had changed. We had spoiled the customer rotten in convenience and what they expected from every business across America. And those people who could respond, and even better, anticipate what the customer wanted, are all doing well. The most important thing is change in any business cycle. But as a result of that pandemic, the rate of change has been sped up on every front. And the ability to change faster than that change is what kept my best entrepreneurs in business. You know, I've invested in about 85 businesses on Shark Tank that I work with day in and day out. And I can tell you, it's those entrepreneurs that just realized that they were going to lose their business and ran like they were going to lose their business that made a go of it, because they changed everything about their business and retrofitted themselves for the new norm. So no, change and the ability to take it in the chin and throw yesterday to yesterday and go forward with what's going to work tomorrow was and will continue to be the key element.
Millions of jobs expected to be created via this $2.3 trillion infrastructure plan that President Biden has unveiled recently. That's set to be voted on in the House on July 4th. And good jobs, we keep hearing that they're called good jobs, clean energy jobs. What do you like about these jobs that could be coming to market?
Well, what I like about the jobs is there's a real need. So there's being a need fulfilled that has been ignored for a long time. What I don't like about the jobs is they take a certain deal of education. You know, this clean energy, they're desk jobs that we're all doing at home now, of course, for the most part. But it's not really the kind of jobs that are targeted at employing the people who need the jobs the most. So I think there's a little weakness in that foundation there, but at least it's a start. So I'm going to say good for that, good for the start. But I'd like to see more people in dire need not get the assistance through checks, but get the assistance through open doors into good jobs that they could prosper in. I think that's what's needed more than anything.
Barbara Corcoran, host of Business Unusual podcast, and of course, a shark on Shark Tank. You can catch her on Shark Tank Friday nights on ABC. Barbara, thank you so much for joining me this morning.